Well, hello, it's Craig Hemingway once again, Communications Manager for the City of Moose Jaw. This is our Notorious Jawcast, and we're trying to spotlight a number of things here with the Jawcast recently related to COVID-19. And we've talked a lot about city operations related to COVID and the small business support program, but what about other supports for those that are struggling during COVID-19? We're happy to bring on two members of the Moose Jaw COVID-19 Community Response Team to detail that for us today, Christine Boyczuk and Della Ferguson. Welcome, both of you.
Thank you so much, Craig.
Oh, well, thank you for joining us, and thank you for all you're doing so far. Christine, tell us how the COVID-19 Community Response Team came to be.
Well, community member Ashley Florent raised this with a few people, and so a small committee was convened. The first thing we did was conduct a survey to find out what the needs were and the possible solutions that they might have, and who else might want to be involved in this committee. So next we analyzed the results of that survey, and we determined what were the immediate needs, the short-term and the long-term needs. And then we, and of course, we convened a larger committee based on those who were really interested in participating. So I think we keep adding as people show an interest, and we have, I think, 16 members with a possible couple more after the meeting last night.
That's fantastic. Sorry, Christine, if I may interject just briefly. So in your mind when this started, who were you hoping to reach with this committee? What was the first goal that came into your mind, that we need to create a committee to address blank?
Address the needs that people on the ground, people in the community, I should say, needed, the needs that they had. And so we basically surveyed various agencies, such as the food bank and other areas in the city, that school divisions. We had a broad-based survey, and from that, what we determined were the immediate needs. The first one was, how do people know what's available to them? That was one of the things that surfaced first, and that's actually going to be a pretty long-term goal that we have, but we started with that, and with 211, Della will tell more about that. And the needs were food security, mental health, transportation, domestic violence, and housing, in that order. And so Della can carry on from there if you like, or
certainly, Della, I know certainly you've got a long history of being a great mental health advocate here in the city of Moose Jaw. And if you want to speak specifically to, again, COVID has taken a big mental health toll on our community and around the world. And so talk about, from that perspective, the things you're trying to address through this committee.
Wow, it's so huge, the effect of this isolation that it's causing on people, and the ripple effect of that isolation, everything from people who have anxiety disorders, and now there's a fearful situation going on around, and so how do we help ground them, to people who are coping with loved ones who are in the hospital in healthcare and they're not able to see them, to just being alone and dealing with that aloneness. So those are just a tip of the iceberg of mental health issues that people are coping with. And so how do we as a community get the information out so that people who are in need are aware of what's available? And so, yeah, I and this whole committee have a really big heart for this happening. And it's just been an absolute privilege to work alongside this committee. And as Christine said, 211 was our first thing that we wanted to get out to the community, that all-encompassing information network that is available to us by just dialing 211. That's a Saskatchewan information source available, right? And so two things. One is it's available to people to call in and check on. Number two, we want to encourage agencies to make sure their information is up to date so that the right information is available for the people. So we've had people in our committee who have got volunteer bases that have gone out into our downtown. You know, we're trying to be sure that that information is there on the street, on social media, in all of the news agencies, everywhere, to try and get it to the people who are in need. So that was a start.
For sure. You know, it strikes me that, you know, one of the things about COVID-19, it's forced a lot of new activities and actions, but it's also put a spotlight on many programs and supports and other things that had been in place for a long time that people just did not realize. And I'm thinking about something like 211, that here's a mental health support program that's been in place that just maybe wasn't promoted as much before, but now here's a situation where, okay, here it is. Would that be accurate?
Well, not just mental health too, right? 211 is all encompassing. It has all the information for all of these areas that we've mentioned: food security, transportation, all of those support systems available. It's a wonderful network of information. Yes. But you're exactly right. It's brought it to head, hasn't it? The need for getting that information out. Mm-hmm.
You bet. So, Christine, what have you seen? You know, we're only obviously several weeks into COVID-19, a couple months or so. What have you seen as some successes and some challenges that still exist?
Well, what we did was we put together lists or a compilation of those services that are available in Moose Jaw. Some of them have been there for a long time. Some of them are new that some agencies are just developing, and they have really taken the lead in getting this resource together. So we do have a list of resources for food security that I don't think you can find anywhere else in our city, or that we haven't been able to get to before, where you can get your groceries. Della, the next one is mental health. Do you want to tell a little bit about the resource for mental health?
You know what's risen up through this situation is our Canadian Mental Health Moose Jaw branch has developed what they call Wellness Support Response Line. So that's 306-630-5978. And they have peer supporters who are trained in mental health challenges, and they're available and willing to have that talk. And that's such an important service right now when people are isolated and feeling overwhelmed. And so we're really pleased to see that rise up. They've also developed some excellent courses, again, online. You know, this digital age, we've been able to find mediums that we can work with. And so doing that, we have Saskatchewan Healthline 811 that has social workers available for the mental health aspect, but we also have the 211 for the overview. The University of Regina has online therapy available, and that's free, and it's for everyone. And so again, timing is perfect that has already been established and is available to us right now. And again, anywhere in our province, it's available to people. And then, of course, our mental health and addictions through the Saskatchewan Health Authority. They have ongoing services going on and available. And you can present right to the ER or call the intake worker, 691-6464, and they will help line you up with services as well. And so we have a great overview of mental health services.
You've got a great team, as you mentioned, Christine, 16 people on the committee so far, and I think rising. Do you have any sense on how many people you've been able to help so far through all these initiatives?
Well, we don't have any way to really know, to determine that. What we do know is we have reached out to about 300 people with each of our, as soon as we have our list developed, we send it to 300 people who usually distribute it to either clients or members, such as the chamber, will distribute the information. So for each of those 5 areas, we have now just about completed all 5, and we need a way to get this information known on the ground, or for people who really need it. So what who we're reaching is the service provider, who hopefully can pass it on to their clients or individuals that they know who need the help. And it's very hard. But the one success that I have had, I went to a church AGM and someone mentioned it, the resource for food security. So I thought that was really interesting because we're sending them to churches. Now, I think the city is a fantastic way to reach a lot more people than we can reach.
Yeah, and absolutely. And we're trying to, and I'm going to try and share my screen here. There it is. Might be just coming up. Yeah, so we have added, there's the 2-on-1 graphic there. And of course, we have the link to 2-on-1 Saskatchewan and some of the material that you were able to share with us earlier, Christine. It's up on our website right now. From the mental health resources to the food delivery and grocery delivery, food security piece, the transportation options. So yeah, like I said, we wanted to be able to fulfill and all those things to be able to help out and share that information. So we hope it helps.
Oh, that is awesome. And
Yeah.
we are the whole committee, we're very excited to hear about your willingness to.
So from here, obviously this isn't a short-term thing. We're going to be dealing with COVID for some time now. I suspect your committee is in operation for as long as it takes.
For sure. We don't have a time limit. We meet twice a week, which is pretty often, but we may not meet as often, but certainly as long as it takes. We do have a long-term, we have a short-term objective, and that is the communication. We really need a good communication strategy to get into people's homes. Maybe it's all of the above. Maybe it's through the city and through service providers. However, we are going to look at that next, and then the whole idea of a living wage, because some people believe that because people are being provided with funding, that they no longer require as much support from food security, for example, which kind of gives an indication that perhaps a living wage is a really good direction for our committee to pursue.
Well, Christine Boyczuk, Della Ferguson of the Moose Jaw COVID-19 Community Response Team, thanks for all you're doing and continue to do. Anything else before we go?
Thank you for being our voice. That's just ultimately important. One of the highest needs we saw was that we need to get the word out, and thank you for being that.
Thank you.
It's our pleasure.